Hi, I'm Lois Beres at KZGN-TV, and this is Ridgecrest Talk. And today I'm talking with Sergeant Ryan Marrone of the Ridgecrest Police Department. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We need to talk a little bit more about our police. We have a wonderful police department in this great town. And in line with some of the things that we talk about, some of the neat people we have in our town, we've got to go with our police department. And you've been in town for how long?
I got to the police department in January of 2000.
Oh, okay. So you've been here a while then.
Yeah, quite a while.
Oh, good. And you came specifically to work at the police department?
Yeah, correct. I always wanted to be a police officer. I knew that forever, so I put myself through the police academy in Riverside.
Ah.
And what agencies do around probably the nation, but for sure in California, they go to the academies and look for good candidates, and they recruit you, or for lack of a better term, recruit you. But they do a background check. If they like what they see, they give you a conditional job offer, and it starts there.
Oh, how interesting. And did you specifically look at Ridgecrest, or did they look at you, or was it?
I had applied many places because I grew up in the desert anyway,
did you?
Palmdale in California
Oh, so you're
City.
right from the area.
So I was familiar with the area anyway. My brother had gone to Beres and Murray Middle School in the early days, so I knew about it. So when Ridgecrest did come looking for a police officer position applicant, I was on board all the way. It was really meant to be.
That's great, because you knew the area, you knew what we needed, and you wouldn't have culture shock with the desert.
Right, and
so that would work.
And nothing against California City, but Ridgecrest is a much better place.
Is it?
So
okay.
this was a big upgrade.
I love
This is a great place. Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. So when you were here before, were you associated with the Navy or anything? Or?
No. Just after high school, I did a bit of traveling and was an exchange student in England.
Oh, how
I stayed
exciting.
for about a year. And when I got back, I was only 19, and you have to be 21 to do law enforcement, at least with City Police Department.
Okay.
So I saved money and worked until I made some money to go to the police academy, and fortunately Ridgecrest came and picked me up.
Oh, I love it. That's great. I used to think that the police departments put you guys through the academy, but that doesn't happen anymore, does it? You're pretty much responsible for it yourselves?
Well, it still happens, but obviously a lot of budget issues in the state of California, and a lot of cities don't have a lot of money. So now what they try to do is, if you can put yourself through, great, or some people have already graduated looking for jobs, and so police departments go and try to find those people who have already gone through the academy, because the academy costs thousands of dollars.
Lots and lots of bucks.
So
yeah.
This day and age, it's more common to pick somebody up that's already trained. However, they still can pick you up from start and go through the whole process with you.
Okay.
It just is, it's really a money thing.
Yeah, that's usually what it boils down to,
Right.
is the bucks. But you have put yourself through, and then they offered you the job. Then you came up here, and how do you start? I'm this new kid on the block. How do you become a seasoned police officer?
Well, obviously you'd like to have a clean record. You know,
Oh, that's
you want to
important.
show want to show that you don't have a history of committing crimes. Even getting a lot of speeding tickets shows that you don't really care about
disrespect.
following rules. Yeah. So you go to the academy, which is, when I went, 23 weeks, but I believe it's 25 weeks now, because they have Museum of Tolerance and a Spanish course too, because you have to be able to speak at least some basic Spanish, because you'll deal with a lot of Spanish speakers in California for sure.
That's true.
So it's longer now, but once you graduate, you go to your police department, Ridgecrest PD, and you start what's called a FTO. It's a field training program.
Okay, so they train you further when you get on the job.
Right. The academy is just the basic training academy. You come to your agency, and that's when you learn the ropes. You learn what the city's about, the policies, get to know the people in the agency, and you really start to learn the job in-house. It's the academy, like I said, just gives you that basic foundation.
Yeah.
The FTO program is what you build your house.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that is 4 months long.
Wow.
So
you
10
kind
total
of
months.
skip around to different areas? Or?
Yeah, so for us, you come on, your first 2 weeks, you bounce around different areas of the police department. You'll sit in dispatch to learn how that works. You'll see how records works, detective division, traffic division.
Wow.
So you kind of get a feel of everything just to see what it's like, and then you'll get assigned to your training officer, and you have 3 different training officers during that 4-month period.
Wow.
And that's because every officer is different. Obviously, the same goal is to get from A to Z, but people have different teaching styles.
That's
so
true.
you want to work with different officers and learn different things. And at the end, when you pass, you take all those tools and you become your own self, your own person.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. And then they see where you're the best at probably, and then can, like, there's several different things you can do. You can do like patrol for traffic, for, I don't know whatever else you've got out there.
Yeah, there's a variety. The first step, though, is once you do get off the training program, you go right to patrol.
Oh, do you?
So you
Okay.
become a patrol officer working probably the graveyard shift.
Okay.
6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for
Oh, boy.
a while. But after you get some time on and get off a probationary period, you have an opportunity to sign up for the traffic, like you said, a detective division. You can do ancillary assignments like being on the range staff or the warrant service team, and also
okay.
maybe become a training officer. So when those new people come on, you can
Ah.
then share your wealth of
What
knowledge.
you've picked up
Right,
about
right.
Ridgecrest and what's going on here.
Right.
So we have some remarkable people, and I know when I talked with the chief, he said that the people in Ridgecrest cooperate with you guys quite a bit.
Yes.
But, it's kind of amazing because we're seeing so much right now out there where they're not cooperating. So I think we're very fortunate that you guys have this function that cooperates with people.
I've lived in many cities through my life before coming to Ridgecrest. I've been here obviously now 15 years
15
almost,
years,
but
yeah.
I've never seen a relationship between the police department and the community like it is here.
Oh,
It
that's
is
wonderful.
second to none. It really is.
No kidding. That's
It's
great.
great.
I
I
love
mean,
it.
it's a great community and a great police department, and that's
Oh, I
how
know
we.
we've got a great police department just from outside looking in, but now
Yeah.
it's nice to hear from the inside
Yeah,
looking out too.
we have great people coming in, and that have been here also for a long time.
Okay.
And it's just awesome having that partnership with the community because it helps us solve many crimes.
That's great.
Because if
That's
we don't
really good.
know what to look for, somebody will always hear it, word of mouth. It
I know
happens.
that so and so had this and whatever. Yeah,
Right, and
that's-
it
that's
really
amazing.
helps to keep the city safe, and
Uh-huh.
so it's awesome.
Well, that's really good. We have, and then you've got a couple other things like some volunteer folks that help you out in a couple of areas, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit more. But
Sure.
we're going to go to a break in just a minute, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the neat things that they're putting on so that we can know more what they're doing. And last week they had a coffee with the cops. We're going to talk about that in just a minute too. So you were there at the coffee with
I
the
was,
cops. All right,
yeah.
that's cool.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we'll talk with Sergeant Marrone. Okay, you're back with Sergeant Marrone and myself, Lois Beres, and we're talking about the Ridgecrest Police Department and some of the great things they do for us. One of the things that they sponsored or had sponsored for them last week was something called Coffee with Cops, and you had that where?
That was at Starbucks on
Okay.
North China Lake Boulevard.
And we had, one of our guys went down there, so I think we'll have some pictures out there for you so you can see that. How did that transpire? How did you decide to do that?
It's been going on in the nation. Many police departments have been doing it for quite some time, and we too have done it in the past. It's probably 4 or 5 times in the past.
Okay.
This is the first one of 2015 that we have done, and obviously we held it at Starbucks.
So you could have some
And-
coffee.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, you know, it's always good to get some coffee.
You got it.
So with that,
Did you have a lot of folks come in?
a lot of people came in, a lot of hellos and smiles, but not really any questions.
You didn't have anybody sit down with you and say, "Hey, how do I do
Yeah.
this?"
Hey, I have a concern about this,
Mhm,
or
that's what I thought
Or
might
hey,
happen.
what do I do in this situation? And that's what it's really designed for, just to ask questions or share concerns or just sit and talk about the weather.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
But just kind of get acquainted with our police department
Right.
so that next time they see you, they're going to recognize you and they know that you're not totally intimidating.
right. Just be
Yeah.
comfortable with us. We're human beings as well, even
And
if
you're
it doesn't
here to
appear
help
so
us, not
sometimes.
hurt us.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
but you didn't have too many folks that did that, sitting down to talk. Maybe we need to get the word out a little, different or something.
Yeah. Don't be intimidated by us. Come and say hello to us.
He said they sat down with, could you say 5 or 6?
5, 6 of us in uniform and some detectives with their equipment
Civilian-
on.
Oh, okay.
But and again, everybody was friendly.
Yeah.
But maybe they just were uncomfortable coming up and approaching us. Maybe they thought we were in a
Maybe
meeting.
they thought you were just talking about what you had to go out and do or
Right,
something, and they
but-
didn't want to interrupt you.
But
Maybe we need a sign that says, come sit and talk to us or something like that.
Maybe a separate sign, because Starbucks
Yeah.
put it up on their community board.
Oh, okay.
And the police department has a Facebook page with
Yeah, I
almost
saw that.
5,000 followers, which is awesome.
That's great, yeah.
But, so it was out there, but I still think it'd be tough to want to walk up to a group of police at a table, and I
Maybe you
understand
should
it.
move them out where there's one or two at a table. or
Maybe,
something.
less scary to approach.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe,
I don't
I
know.
agree.
There's some
But-
other things that you could probably do, but just the fact that they were friendly is a start.
Hey, yeah, nothing,
Because some of
nothing
the
horrible.
things we're hearing lately is not terribly friendly.
Yeah,
So,
it's-
do you guys get on, I don't know, heightened watch or something when some of these things happen in other towns? Or
You know,
are we pretty fortunate here in Ridgecrest that we don't have to do that?
well, anywhere you're at, I think once you put a uniform on, no matter what uniform it is, you become a target.
That's
Whether
true.
it's LA, Baltimore, Ferguson, Ridgecrest.
There you go.
So always on alert when it comes on. So if it seems like an officer's stuffy and robotic, it's how we're trained. It's because you want to go home at the end of the day.
That's right.
But still people.
Uh-huh.
Still trying
And
to
you're
do a
doing
good
your
job
job.
for everybody.
Great.
So yeah, but it does change the ball game. The stuff going on, it's tragic. It's tragic.
It
It's
is.
terrible that
Very,
it's
very
happening,
sad.
and
I don't understand it, but then
and
that's
I'm glad
another
that we
story.
in this community can work with each other, police and community, because it does make a difference, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And you have that group that's called what? Police and Community Together.
Yep, they're
And
packed, and we
they're,
also have CERT.
And CERT is what?
CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team.
Oh, okay. And what do they do?
Little different roles than PACT. PACT, or Police and Community Together, they work in the police department, and they do subpoena services and vacation house checks. They assist us on crime scenes. They bring food or with logistics and stuff. They just help out a lot. Without them,
Some of the things that you guys as sworn officers really don't have the time to do. You've got to be back there doing
because you got to
your
focus
job.
on the crime scene. They could be crime scene security, so we can
They can
focus
put
there.
the
and-
yellow tape out and
they're
keep people away.
A great
and-
support service. Without them, we'd struggle.
They
They're
do a
great.
lot of traffic too for you, don't they?
They do traffic control at accidents, at graduations like Saracoso and Burroughs, and CERT also does that.
Oh, do they? Okay.
They're different trained. They come out when bad things happen as well, but they get trained in triage and
okay.
a lot of first aid related stuff too.
Oh, that's neat, and the PAC doesn't do that.
PACT
Yeah.
can do it if they're trained at it, but CERT specifically comes into play when
And
it
their
comes to
training
community emergencies.
Includes that, for sure, in
Right,
CERT.
right.
Oh, that's interesting.
it's
I didn't
great.
know that one.
And they're both
Okay.
always looking to pick up some people to help out.
Okay, so if you hear that, if you want to be a part of it, what would they do? Go down to the...
If you want to try out PACT or CERT, you can do both. Not just
really?
one or the other. You
Okay.
can do both. If you want to do CERT, you would come talk to me at the police department. My number is 499-5143. If you're interested in doing PACT, your contact person is Andy Pogorski. He's the coordinator for them, and his phone number is 499-5107.
There you go. We knew it was theirs. 5-1 something, rather. Oh, well, that's great. And I know that Tom Wicknick from here is with PACT, and he's always doing something out
Always out there. He does a lot
that's
for
good.
us.
And now you have a code enforcement officer, though,
Correct.
right? And you didn't have for a while.
Yeah, sometimes the position goes away, and it had gone away with budget-related stuff, but fortunately we were able to get it back, and code enforcement officer's a busy guy.
It is.
Doing a lot of stuff.
You don't even think
it's a
about
lot of
it
work
until,
and-
well, I was on planning commission for a while. And when we had things come up where we had to talk with the people, you guys, about blight and that sort of thing, then we were able to talk with the code enforcement officer when there was one.
Yeah.
And so now it's awesome that you have it again.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And it comes down to the dollar sometimes.
Yeah.
But what is your favorite job? I mean, do you have a favorite job, or just being there, being a part of it?
I never had one thing that was my favorite. I
Really?
really enjoyed everything.
Okay.
And currently I'm a sergeant. I'm doing the administrative stuff now. Previous to that, I did all patrol and was a field training officer and was the watch commander for patrol. But doing this job, I'm learning a different angle, the behind the scenes stuff that you don't really think
Yeah.
about. So.
What does patrol mean? Do you get in a car and drive around?
Yeah. So
What?
patrol, you have your briefing at 6 p.m. or 6 a.m., depending what shift you work, day or night. And once you learn the happenings in the city that day and be on the lookout type things, you hop in your car. Your car's your office. That's where you have all
Oh,
of
is that
your
right?
equipment.
Okay.
And you just go and patrol. You look for anything out of the ordinary. And
And then you dispatched to, I guess, sometimes if there's something that you need to be at, they'll tell you, go over there or something.
Well, calls are a priority. So if somebody
Okay.
calls in, doesn't matter what it is, from a barking dog up to a homicide, you know, from least
Oh,
to worst,
wow.
calls a priority. When somebody
Okay.
calls, it's a big deal. It gets handled
So where you go is
first.
where you're supposed to be
Yep.
when they tell you to go there.
Correct.
That's
And then
great.
in the time where there's no calls, that's when you're proactive and you're out making
Looking
sure
around
things
and
look
seeing
good.
everything's looking good.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, it's a great job. It's never the same.
And you wanted to be that for a long time?
That
as a
is,
kid?
I really enjoyed that. And as a kid, I did ride-alongs all the time with
Did you?
California City Police
Oh,
Department too.
neat.
So, yeah, it's great.
That's
It doesn't
great.
get old.
Okay, we're going to be back in 2 minutes again, and we're going to finish talking with Sergeant Marrone from our Ridgecrest Police Department. Hang in there with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. You're back with Lois and Sergeant Marrone, and we're talking about the Ridgecrest Police Department, some of the things that they have that help us to know what they're doing and them to get a feel for what we're doing and what we want them to do. And coming up right away is an open house, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what is involved in that?
So the open house, we've been doing it for several years now. Before
I went to one of them once,
Right.
yeah.
So before I forget, it's May 7th
Okay,
at 6 p.m. Head on to the police department. Doors will be open to everybody to come on down, and it's really just to see the police department, meet the officers, and
do they come out and talk with the people and tell them what they do and that sort of thing?
yes, the officers line the hallways, kind of like information centers, and
Oh, right.
you can just chat about anything or ask questions. They're going to have demonstrations with the police canine.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that, if they would do that. That's
The
great.
warrant service team and range staff will have demonstrations with lethal and less lethal weapons, not using them, but have them out and
Showing
explain
what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
The packed insert teams will be there,
Okay.
and it's just kind of a
And
just a
anybody
hangout.
from children to adults to
Yeah.
whatever are
no,
welcome.
No stipulations. You
All
just come
right.
down and hang out. It's normally 2.5 hours long.
And they can walk through and see
Correct.
where you guys work?
Yep. They'll
Oh.
see our offices and
Oh, that's great.
briefing room, the jail, police cars, motorcycles,
Ah.
the off-road stuff, the armored vehicle. You name it, we bring all the toys out.
All the toys are
And,
there.
and everybody, the
I'm gonna
kids can
come.
sit
That
in
sounds
it,
like
take
fun.
pictures. It's good stuff.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah.
And that makes a real good relationship with the people here in town and you guys.
Yeah.
Because they know you, they speak to you, and then
it's
if they
easier.
see you out in the real world, hey, I know Sergeant Marrone. How are you doing today?
It just makes it easier to talk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No,
And then they know what's going on, and they know where they're protected
Yep.
and how you guys are working for them.
Exactly.
Which is really a good thing.
exactly.
So this is really something that has happened, you said several years, but it's something that you guys need to be really aware of and come on out and take part with them. And there's something else coming up that tells you a little bit more about an in-depth thing for some people that want to learn more. Is that correct?
Correct. That's the best way to put it. It's the extreme version of an open house because
Okay,
it is
there you go.
it is 9 weeks long. It's called the Citizens Police Academy.
Ah.
We've never done it before, so this will be our first one. It's many police departments around the nation have done it for quite a while. It's really just to open a window to the Ridgecrest Police Department. It's going to be 8 weeks of the class, and then the 9th week would be a little ceremony where you get a certificate. But each week, it's Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. So
Okay.
the first one is the first week of August, whatever date that is, Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
August, whatever.
The first Thursday in August.
Yep, 6:30
Okay,
p.m.
6:30 p.m.?
We will start and see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be great.
Oh, I
but-
think it will be. It sounds awesome. And you guys are going to be instructors?
Yep, there'll be different officers from chief on down that will instruct different things, but you're going to get to see how the traffic radar system works, you know, when you see the officer standing out there
Oh,
with the
no.
radar.
Yeah,
So you get
okay.
to use that and see how that works. We're going to put together a mock traffic accident. You'll see how those get investigated.
How interesting.
A mock crime scene. You'll get to fingerprint and see. So basically, it's just to show you what we do as a community or as a police department, let the
For
community know.
Right.
This is what takes so long sometimes. This is why we want the scenes closed, because this small piece of evidence could be everything. But it does. It's going to be great.
And it's called a Citizens Police Academy?
Right. So
that's great.
So once you graduate, you're not a police officer.
You're not.
It's
no.
really just a way that we can just work more with the community and just
and
become
who
one
is
with each other.
eligible?
Well, I'll put an application out. You have to at least be 18 years old to do it.
Okay.
So probably after today, I'll put it on Facebook and notify
Okay.
the newspapers, and you guys will get a press release here of the starting date and where to pick up an application and basic information to fill out. We obviously have to do a background check because you will be coming into the police department
And you'll be
behind
able
the
to
scenes
see
doing
all
stuff.
the behind, that's
Yeah.
exactly what.
And get some hands-on,
Oh, that
training,
sounds
really.
exciting.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a hit.
Especially for people that might not have a clue what you guys do.
Yeah, and this will be perfect for that.
Yeah.
And even perfect for somebody who's interested in maybe doing law
Maybe
enforcement, but they're not
becoming-
sure.
Right.
So 20-person max is the class.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. So if you don't
So if
get...
you see right away that it's something you want to do, you need to get your application
Yeah,
in.
let me
pretty
know quickly. It'll be me that you contact.
Oh, you're going to
Yeah,
be
send
the
the application back to me at the police
coordinator.
department.
Okay.
But if you, for some reason, don't get picked up the first one, I'm guarantee you there'll be another one and another one, so we'll get
Well,
you
if you're
in.
only doing 20, you're going to need, because if there's big interest,
Right.
they'll come along more.
And I really hope there's a big interest. I think there will be, because
Oh, I think there will be too.
we have a great place, and
It
a lot
is.
of people like to know what's going on.
Ridgecrest is really a cool place, and we have some neat people. We've got some drawbacks, but they're not big enough to overcome all the really cool people that we have
Right.
here, and they want to know what's going on. So the fact that you guys are allowing that to happen, that's remarkable. So we've got the open house coming up, and then we've got this
Citizen
course
Police
coming
Academy,
up. Say it again?
Citizens Police Academy.
Citizens Police Academy, and that'll be the first week in August.
And it will be every Thursday, so.
Every Thursday
until
for how long?
9 weeks if you
Okay.
count the graduating week.
Oh, okay.
I say graduation, but you get a cool certificate, and you're part of the team. And then after that, also an opportunity to get on, like I said, with CERT or PACT.
I was going to just ask you that,
Yeah.
if that would be something that, now that you've gone through this, you might want to do more.
lead into
And
doing
PACT
this.
would
and,
probably like to have you, or
we can
CERT
always
or
use
all
PACT and
those.
CERT. It's huge help. The volunteers are a huge help. I can't say it enough. It's we
great.
need it. We
You do need
help.
it,
Yes.
yeah. Well, there's always that budget constraint, and you just can't have all these sworn officers.
Right.
And with the bucks that we have.
Right.
So if you've got volunteers and people, it's an awesome thing to do. Everybody I've talked to that does that, it's very rewarding, and they really like it. So
be nice to the volunteers. They
yeah.
work for free to take care of you guys. Be
You
nice
got
to them.
it, right. Be good to them, right. So what is your Facebook? Is it just Ridgecrest Police Department, or?
Right, yeah, you just do a search on Facebook. It's Ridgecrest Police Department. There's a couple on there, but ours is the main picture is the badge.
Oh, okay.
So there's a couple, but you go to the badge. We have just under 5,000 followers now.
Wow.
And that's where we put the monthly stats, the daily police log, and any press releases or photos of community events we've done.
Wonderful.
So it's really good. We have a goal of getting way more followers, because it does get the word out when stuff's going on, especially recent crimes
Right.
that have happened.
We've
So
had some things, so you would
right.
put those out on
Put that out
Facebook.
there, and it helps.
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. And then people can reply if they know anything that these guys need to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You can do
Confidential.
that.
Just send a private message. We will never get you involved in anything that would harm you. And then we
Okay.
could help solve crimes with your help.
Sounds great. Thank you, Sergeant Marrone. I appreciate you coming so much. And you guys talk to him. Go on Facebook, check it out, and I'll see you next week.